heading into Northern Ireland from Scotland. These ferries have become the flashpoint for the UK's first battle with the EU post-Brexit. The checks on some goods coming into Northern Ireland from Britain are frustrating some businesses and consumers, but they're also firing up a unionist sense of grievance and abandonment.
It must go. There shouldn't be any internal border within the United Kingdom.
It just shouldn't be there. One country, no divide.
The MP for Larne Port, Sammy Wilson, attacks the plans for even more checks and border infrastructure here.
You're going to have a huge building here. You're going to have an army of people here. The local council are going to have 100 environmental health inspectors at this one point.
When the bulldozers come here and start building, this is going to be a flashpoint,
well,
isn't it?
It's certainly going to be the symbol of the betrayal which the people of Northern Ireland have experienced as a result of the protocol.
It could get ugly.
I hope that it doesn't.
There's a younger generation coming up now who wants to just go for it. We're fed up with what's going on. The Good Friday Agreement's brought us nothing.
One of the parties that sprang from the loyalist paramilitaries says the protocol has spawned a real danger of loyalist violence.
At this stage with these protocols, I think that the anger is the highest that I've seen it. Where does that anger go? Well, it depends on what the British government do.
In the last fortnight, the government's delayed tougher checks due to come in next month, and it said it's unilaterally cancelling the EU restriction on British soil coming into Northern Ireland. Cricket pitches, it was claimed, were threatened as they couldn't import English loam to firm up the ground.
I do two at the other end, 22 yards apart.
But it's unilateral action, not agreed by the EU, and not enough for some.
Either we kill the protocol or it kills the union.
Jim Allister leads a smaller unionist party, now picking up support from the DUP and, some think, some imitation.
I'm glad that unionism is essentially on the same page now on this.
But it's your page, it's your plan.
No, look, it's not my page. It's the plan and the page of saving the union.
The DUP's also been losing votes to the non-sectarian Alliance Party, something an old-fashioned unionist no campaign, this time against the protocol, will drive more voters away.
I think they need to watch their language, watch their tone.
Too strident sometimes.
Yes, I think they need to just be careful about the tone they use and the language, and not to incite people.
They don't know how to make friends. All they do is alienate people. And, you know, if you keep alienating people, nobody's going to care.
If the election campaign next year is stop the Northern Ireland Protocol, stop the advance of Sinn Féin, people are going to be turned off by that, and you're going to see other parties putting forward a more positive campaign that I think people are going to get behind.
Northern Ireland's first Prime Minister lies here. He was leader of a state that was carved out of the map 100 years ago to ensure a sizable Protestant majority here. But things have changed. The census underway this month is expected to reveal that for the first time those identifying as Catholics outnumber those identifying as Protestants in Northern Ireland. It's a traumatic moment for the unionist psyche and a challenge for its political leaders.
I sometimes look at the analogy of the frog, whose characteristic is if you put it in a pot of cold water and very, very slowly bring that water to the boil, the frog dies because it doesn't realise the environment around it has changed in a way that's an existential threat. And my fear is that unionism is that frog.
The problem is you're on a melting iceberg, aren't you, demographically?
No, because you are trying to paint unionism as a one-dimensional sectarian commodity.
It can occasionally come across as that to some people, can't it? That's why some of these people moved away from it.
Sorry, it is a broad-based church. There's no doubt about that.
For unionism, the tensions of this moment are heightened by the looming prospect of next year's Stormont elections, when Sinn Féin could be the largest party, and the DUP could be asked to come into government, technically equal, but looking like the junior partner.
Could you serve the DUP in that administration?
I think it's a fairly hypothetical question. We'll be fighting the election.
But you'll be asked it a lot in the
we will
election.
Be.
And what will be the answer?
And my answer will always be the same. ensure that that situation doesn't happen by not voting for a party which is corrupt, hypocritical and inefficient.
If that doesn't work,
well,
what then? Can you guarantee you'll go in as they went in under you?
Well, I think it will work, and you know,
doesn't sound like you can guarantee it.
Well, I always say I'll not answer hypothetical questions.
Some businesses, like garden centres, are still being hit by the protocol, even though the government's delayed the ramping up on checks.
I still prefer the English market.
But is it easier to bring them in from Europe now?
We can order in on a Monday and it's here on a Wednesday.
It's easier to get it in from Europe?
Much easier.
Than it is from an English or Scottish or Welsh supplier?
Yeah, totally. It's ridiculous.
And cheaper?
Yeah.
For some Unionists, this is all part of a political plot, forcing Northern Ireland into new supply chains and affinities.
It's a relatively short step from economic unity to political unity. This, to me, is the biggest threat to the Union in my lifetime, and I think Unionists are beginning to realise that.
The government says it's trying to address the concerns in the Unionist community, but is asking for a dilution of the protocol. Parts of Unionism are demanding it goes altogether. EU sources say the protocol is not going to disappear, and the atmosphere for concessions isn't exactly great. Gary Gibbon, Channel 4 News, Larne.